Alright guys, so let's talk about simple harmonic motion or circular motion. So first of all, we're going to look at the proof that relates linear velocity with angular velocity. Alright, this is the first thing we're going to look at. And then we'll also look at the proof that relates linear acceleration with angular acceleration. These are two of the things we need to work with, as well as looking at the proof for linear acceleration with angular velocity. We'll look at this as well. With these three formulas were good to scale with the introduction to simple harmonic motions as regards to circular motion. So let's just drop right to it, how to get the relationship between that. Before we do that, let's look at some terms, some cumulative terms. Let's assume that we have an object here. This is an object at this part. It has moved from here to somewhere around here, right? And this be the midpoint of the circle. We can call this part the radius of the circle, right? The radius of the movement of the circle, radius. This is radius, right? And let's assume that it takes from here, it moves from here to this path, right? So we're going to call here the arc distance. This is the distance that the object moves from here to this path, right? So it means we're just going to connect here with here. That's the radius, of course, right? So with that, we're going to have an angle, right? An arc angle like this, right? It's just simple, it's an analogy. It shows that an object moves from one point to another. The distance that it moves from one point to another is called the arc distance because it's an arc and it covers an angle in that, right? So the terms you should know is that arrow is the radius, arrow is known as the radius, arc radius, right? And our theta is known as what? This theta is known as the angular displacement. Angular displacement, please. Our S is known as the arc distance. Right? We also have other things. V is known as the linear velocity. Linear velocity. Right? And we have this omega as the angular velocity. Angular velocity. We have the A as the linear acceleration. Acceleration. And we have this as the what? Angular acceleration. Angular acceleration, so on and so forth. So these are the terms I want you to understand first before we get right into it. First of all, we know that linear velocity, or let's start with this, the theta here, theta is known as the S over R, right? So it's almost like saying opposite over the hypotenuse here, right? So theta is S over R, and if theta is S over R, let's just keep this. You can also see S is equal to what? Theta R, but let's keep this equation somewhere from the triangle we had, right? Now we know that if linear velocity is our displacement or the time taken, we can also say angular velocity is the angular displacement over the time, right? And we know for sure that the angular displacement is the theta over time. So if I cross multiply, I have theta as what? As angular t. Right, so let's keep this, let's call this on our equation 2, right? So if I try to relate this equation 1, I try to equate this one and this equation 2 together, I'm going to have a similar equation, which is what? Theta equal to S over R is equal to what? The theta here equals to what? Angular t. So if I replace, if I try to relate both of them, alright, so just read the line. I just read the line. So with that we have S arrow is equal to what? Angular p, right? So if I cross multiply, I divide both sides by t. Let's divide both sides by t. I'm going to have let me just put this one first. Angular t equal to s over r. If I divide both sides by t, divide here by t and divide here by t as well, I'm going to have t cancel t. My angular velocity is going to be what? It's going to be s over r times 1 over t. You should know this, that's by inverse. I can rewrite this as what? S over t times 1 over r. I'm just reversing both, where s over t is known as the linear velocity because this is our arc distance. So angular velocity becomes what? V becomes what? V times 1 over r. That gives us what? V over r. Right, that being said, since we have our angular velocity as v over r, I can cross multiply. Let's make here over 1. I can cross multiply such that we have v times 1 is equal to what? Angular velocity times r. So this is how we got this one from the first equation. You can just relate it back. You see that is the answer. Now from our linear velocity, we know that linear velocity is displacement over time, and our acceleration is rate of change of velocity with time, right? So it's like v2 minus v1 over what? Over time, right? We can also say the angular acceleration is the same thing as what? Angular velocity, final rate of change of angular velocity with time, right? And we know what the angular velocity is. When we go to this point, we discover that the angular velocity, which is omega, is v over r. So I can substitute that here by saying angular velocity is what? v2 over r minus v1 over r. That's for the angular velocity, all divided by time. So since r is constant, I can bring it out by saying 1 over r bracket v2 minus v1 over time. And of course you can see something here. This one here, v2 minus v1, is the same thing as our angular acceleration here. So I can substitute that for a. Therefore my angular acceleration is going to be 1 over r times a, because I've already substituted both. Angular acceleration becomes what? A over r, such that if I cross multiply, my a is going to be what? Angular r. So you can see this is the second equation. So it's very easy, right? We've successfully proved that v is equal to omega r for the first equation and a is equal to angular r for the second equation.